Welcome back. This segment for the Slim Fit by Weil-McLain boiler, we're going to be going over troubleshooting. And basic troubleshooting, you have to remember, guys, a lot of times we forget to check the very basics, like is the switch turned on? Is the main circuit breaker tripped? So let's do our due diligence and be sure that we've checked all the basics, all the silly things first, making sure there's a call for heat and those things like that. So once we've gotten that out of the way, now we need to get down and dirty and seeing what's going on with this boiler. Now, we're going to check for making sure we have proper gas pressure. And I know it's always a pain in the neck to check the gas pressure, but if you have an ignition issue, well, it could be related right to the gas pressure. So we have to make sure we do that. Combustion analysis is very important. If you don't have a combustion analyzer, I would have to say you shouldn't be working on this boiler. So that's something you need. You need the right tools to do the right job for troubleshooting properly. So, gas pressure needs to be checked, especially if it's a combustion issue, nuisance lockout, things like that. Combustion analysis. Again, it has to do with gas-air mixture, and your combustion analysis with an analyzer is going to tell you where you're going to be and where you're not. Again, your basic fuses, your basic circuit breaker. Make sure you check those. Now, the majority of the problems that I've seen with a new installation usually has to do with high temperature switches. Somehow we've went off on limits, high temperature limits, and nobody knows what the problem is. Well, in almost every case that I've walked up to, the problem has to do with flow on a new installation. Somehow we're not moving enough water through this boiler to get the heat off. Now remember, you're talking anywhere between 1 million, 1.5, or 2 million BTUs. And yeah, if you don't move this water through this heat exchanger, it overheats like that, and this will shut down and lock out on you right away. Now, take a look at your temperature screens. When you go right into your configuration screen, remember, live time, we see the temperatures right on the screen, what's going on. Now, in your manual, it gives you step-by-step procedures in the matrix, what your display is, what the condition is, what the diagnostics, and what the corrective action is. If you follow those procedures step by step, you should be able to get to that solution. Now, with the temperature sensors the way they are, you can do a couple of things. In the manual, we also have a graph showing you the resistance of the sensor. So if you suspect the sensors being the issue or the problem, well, that's good. But again, if you look at the temperatures and you see the temperatures saying 70 degrees and you know you can't touch the pipe that the sensor's on, well, you know right off the bat that the sensor's probably having an issue, and now you can check the resistance of that sensor. So, I mean, it's real easy to take a look at what's going on here on the screen. And when it does lock out, remember, you have diagnostic history that you can go into after configuration. You can go into details, you can go into diagnostics, and you can go into history, and that's going to give you a snapshot of everything that was happening at the time the boiler locked out, right down to the RPMs of the combustion blower, the flame signal, what was going on, was the gas valve open, closed, what the temperatures were, boiler supply, system supply, boiler return temperature. Now, if your boiler return temperature is somewhere around 180 degrees and your supply temperature is 200, well, and your system temperature is 140, you're telling me that you're not moving water through the boiler. You don't have any of that return water coming back. So now you can take a look at what's going on with the piping. Is there an issue with the circulator? Is a flow check stuck? So you see where I'm getting at with that? So be sure you do your due diligence, check all the basics, take a look at your temperatures, and a lot of times that is going to tell you where your problem lies. Now, once you get past that and you know you've done all your basics and you're still not sure, you can take snapshots of these pictures of these areas of what's happening. Put them to your jump drive. And again, you have to remove this panel, mount your jump drive underneath the solar controlled display. You can download that information, send it to us, send it to your supervisor, whatever you need to do. We can take a look at what you're looking at and help guide you through the troubleshooting of that boiler. Now, if that's not capable, in the boiler manual there's a data collection sheet that you can fill out. It asks you your temperatures, it asks you what size boiler, the basic stuff. You fill that data collection sheet out as you go through your solar control. You can fax that over to our office or to our main office for troubleshooting, and we'll help guide you to come up to a good correction for that boiler and fixing that out. So, the last but not least, when the solar control does lock out, it is going to give you a lockout code. And again, it can be found in the manual, pretty much telling you what that code is. Now, from that code, you can follow your flow chart, and from the flow chart, you can get to your corrective actions. If that still doesn't help you, that's when you can call us or call technical services, and we'll help guide you. But make sure you have the data collection sheet filled out, or make sure you've downloaded the information onto a jump drive and get it over to us so we can see what you're seeing. Well, that's it for troubleshooting, guys. Hopefully that helps. We'll see you on the next segment.